A bill signed earlier this month by Governor Mike DeWine could help with the teacher shortage problem in Ohio. House Bill 554 was designed specifically to bring in professionals in various fields back to their previous profession as teachers to lessen the current load that teachers are dealing with, including a lack of substitute teachers to fill in. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows a net loss nationally of about 600,000 teachers since January of 2020. So here to go over how this new bill could help and more, President of the Ohio Education Association, Scott DeMauro. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Meredith. Good to be with you.
Thanks for saying that. What are your thoughts on this new bill just signed into law? Do you think this is actually going to help the teacher shortage, or is this just a fraction of what really needs to be done?
Well, I think House Bill 554 is an important step, moves us in the right direction because it makes it easier for people that had previously been licensed to teach and working in our schools to come back, takes away some of the barriers. But it is a very small step. What we need is a comprehensive approach because, you mentioned the national numbers. Here in Ohio, there's 17,000 fewer people working in our schools now than there were the year going into the pandemic. And so we have half as many people entering our teacher preparation college programs. We have a lot of teachers that are indicating that it is just challenging and they're looking to potentially retire early or find other work. So we really need to make sure that we attract and retain qualified people in all our classrooms across the state.
Yeah, and the thought behind this bill is that there's people in Ohio who left teaching to pursue other career choices and might be willing to return to the classroom. But isn't that why many people left the education sector in the first place, with the plan of not returning?
Well, that's true. I mean, and you have to make sure that you're providing supportive working conditions. The teachers are feeling respected and have autonomy to do the work that they need to do with their students. And you have to pay competitive salaries. There is a significant pay gap that exists in our state, in our nation. People coming out of college, going into other professions, make about 25% more on average than educators do. And so we need to really invest in our public schools, make sure that our schools are fully and fairly funded, make sure that there are resources to pay competitive salaries. We also need to attract good people into our education support positions, our paraprofessionals and bus drivers and cafeteria workers. There's a need for good people across the spectrum in our schools. We're willing to work with legislators on creative solutions to make it happen in order to get good people coming back into our public education system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you named a couple of really important reasons of, what could bring teachers in. But do you have any thoughts on what seems to be the #1 driving force when it comes to teachers walking away from the field?
I think there is, it's a twofold problem. One is just generally feeling unsupported. When you have more and more challenging conditions with behavioral issues, with technology, and actually in a lot of cases, even political attacks against the profession that made it really hard for people. But combine that with more and more mandates that are coming down from the state, a focus on standardized testing over real quality learning. A lot of scrutiny that comes with policies enacted without really consulting teachers. What we need to do is find more ways to give teachers an opportunity to exercise their voice and really shape the direction of teaching and learning in our schools.
Yeah, I see. And I agree with that. I mean, it's really important to bolster the education system. And from your standpoint, do you think that there's enough up-and-coming teachers in higher education that will offset the amount of teachers that might retire over the next few years?
Right now, there's not. We're going to have to really do some creative things to start talking with students, who are still in school themselves and help them recognize the potential of an education career. I will say after 30 years in the classroom, there's no more rewarding work than seeing the difference you can make with students in the classroom. But we need to start encouraging young people from an early age. And there are some teacher academy programs in our high schools and career centers around the state that offer some promise. There are programs called Grow Your Own programs that help us attract diverse students, particularly from urban communities, and give them opportunities to support them through their college experience. Apprenticeship programs where people who are working maybe on support roles can transition to professional roles. We have to find all different kinds of approaches because right now there are 50%, the number of students in our education prep programs is 50% lower than it was 10 years ago. In order to address that pipeline, especially as we're expecting more people to be retiring in the coming few years, it's going to take a lot of effort.
Well, hopefully this bill can really help attract some more people to the teaching industry. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good to be with you.